Hey, thanks for coming back to TNE 2, Season 2. As you can see, we've got a new place. I'm here with one of my best friends, man, one of my good friends, a fellow therapist, LaMar Walker. LaMar Walker, we met down at the conference this year, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and we did the brothers. He was on the brothers of Season 2. So this is one of the brothers on Season 2, man. So talk to me, Walker. How you feeling, man? Thanks for coming to the building, man. Tell me how you feeling today.
Feeling good. Thank you for having me.
All right, no problem. Yeah. So you have a practice in Lawrenceville.
Yes, I'm a private practice downtown Lawrenceville.
How's that, man? How'd you get to downtown Lawrenceville? Is pretty big, man. That's a big time there.
Yeah, I like it. I was actually working at a hospital in the area.
Okay.
And then, and I live in Gwinnett.
Okay.
So I found the office space and set up shop about 5 years ago.
Yeah, that's nice, man. So 5 years ago, and you've been going strong now. So what are your specialties that you do down in Lawrenceville?
I work with clients that have trauma, depression, anxiety, adolescents, couples, adults.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of a general practitioner.
As being a general practitioner, which is good, as you can see that here on the next episode, man, we always gonna promote our brothers that does this work, man, because the key thing is that none of us are in it. So since we're not in it, man, we definitely want to promote one another on this. So I really like LaMar's story. Tell me a little bit. Let's tell him the story again. Tell us how you got into the game of therapy. Talk to him, man. I love your story, man. This to me, he has some of the stuff that I went through, but I love the fact that how he still persevered. He's also part of the Divine Nine. So those who don't know that, then you don't know that. All right, go ahead and talk to him, man.
Let's see. Yeah, my clients ask me all the time. They say, "Well, how did you get into this whole field?" When I graduated high school, I didn't even think I was gonna make it to college. My grades weren't the best. My behavior wasn't the best, and finally, the college did accept me. Clark Atlanta University, CAU, came down in '97.
Okay.
I took psychology because it was the only class in high school that I really passed.
All right. Hey.
So I said, okay, let me go ahead and do psychology. Plus, I didn't want to be standing in the undecided line, which was really short.
Yeah.
So went through the classes, and I realized, okay, being smart was okay.
Gotcha.
So started studying, started applying myself. I worked at retail throughout that time. Okay. After I graduated from college, I tried sales, retail, construction, security, a whole bunch of jobs. Probably lasted maybe about 6 months tops before either I quit or got fired. So a friend of mine introduced me into the mental health field, had me doing what was called support coordination at the time for people that had developmental disorders.
Right.
So I would do their treatment plans, I would meet with the families, make sure that they were receiving services that they needed, things like that. Also moved into doing some case management in a residential adult facility. Gotcha. So I was doing that for a while, and a lot of the clients there, patients there, were telling me their stories, and it was so interesting, and I wanted to do more. Right. Finally, I found a job where it wasn't just a check. Okay. This is where I needed to be. This is what I needed to do. So, my boss at the time was like, "Hey, you're not their therapist. You just make sure that they're taking their meds. You just make sure that they're playing these games. You sitting around talking with them. We don't, you can talk with them a little bit, but just make sure that they're cleaning up. You're just there to monitor them." So did that light a fire under you? Yeah. I said, well, then I need to be their therapist then. So went back to school for my master's. Gotcha. I started early. I started with my master's in 04. Okay. I tried to go for my master's in 04. I had to stop for a while after my son was born to, spend time with him and focus on him. Gotcha. But a close friend of mine told me, study the course. Yes. So I got back in there in 07 and finished up in 09. Got my master's in 09. That's about the same time I got mine. Yeah. Yeah. That's nice, man. So let me see. So 09, you got yours. Did you do it down here at Argosy or did you do? Okay, so Argosy. Went to Argosy for my master's. Got you. And which is nice is that Argosy was under the K-CREP format. Yes. So that saved you because now you was able to diagnose when we did the diagnosing. And so I said I got to talk to this brother because one of the thing about it is with us is that
the way that what we do with these clients and how we engage them and build that therapeutic rapport, it does come from the experiences that we went through, because you know when someone who lost their job, how they're going to feel, the anxiety kicks in when they got all of a sudden they got a child to take care of, especially the brothers that are out there. And so that's why we're here. We want brothers to know that you can come to a therapist who can relate to you, because I think at the time when we was going through these things, we never even thought about going to therapy.
No. I mean, the first time that I experienced a real rough situation where depression was real deep. I think for like 6 months. It's before I even started working in the mental health field. It was after college. I got into a car accident. I lost my apartment, lost my house, lost everything. Right. You know, and it was real tough. I had to, I was living in a rooming house at one point.
Oh man!
And sometimes I wasn't even showering. Sometimes I wouldn't even get out of bed. So it took a lot to. So when I work with clients with depression, I think about the times where I was at a real low. It may not have been diagnosed as clinical depression, but looking at it now, I'm like, it was
because you withdrawn, you didn't stay by yourself, didn't take care of yourself, let yourself be disorganized and stuff like that. So these are the things that we learned, but it's like book knowledge doesn't help unless you have the actual experience to go through.
Yes.
And so that's the one thing I really pride myself. So what type of treatment modality that you use when you do with your clients, or is it just a eclectic variations, or what do you really stick with?
Cognitive behavioral. That's my main treatment modality, is cognitive behavioral. Little solution focused as well. Yeah. Of course, making sure that the atmosphere is good, they're comfortable, I'm listening to them.
Right.
But yeah, CBT is my go-to. I've been doing it for years. Right. Because sometimes we just move and we're just doing things. We're not even aware of the thoughts and the thoughts that affect our mood, which affects our behavior. Right. So once I, work with my clients to get them to understand how their thoughts affect them, and how to work on changing, adjusting that thoughts, it's amazing the outcome. Yeah. Of course, we do a little journaling. We create some goals and set some plans. We try to rewrite their story.
Got you. You ever used the whiteboard?
Oh, yes.
That was the one thing that I had to learn for myself, was the utilization of the whiteboard, because that's more of that visual picture that they get. And for me, it's part of CBT, but it's called rational living therapy, which is really nice. It follows the same. It's under that same umbrella of CBT, but then it's just more of that when you go through their actions and their behaviors and what the circumstances are, you begin to just say, okay, now we got to reframe that action so it change a different behavior, and then there's a different circumstance, and then you say not only will you do better, you feel better. So that's the mode of the rational living therapy. But it's about you think about ever trying to add another technique to your repertoire?
I'm always looking at different things. I got certified in trauma, so I have a trauma certification, so I was looking at that. What is it? There's quite a few different modalities that are floating out there. I looked at hypnosis a little bit. Right now, I think as the need comes, then I'll move into something else. But there's so much out there.
Once again, Daryl Brooks, one of the hosts of the TNE, the Next Episode, Season 2. We're hanging out here with LaMar Walker, a guy who was at our first episode of Season 2, part of the Brothers. So I'm meeting with one of the brothers, LaMar Walker, man. And so we're talking right now a little bit about his history, his background. Now we also going to, after the second set, we're going to talk to some things that he does and what type of, how he uses it when you come to his sessions, or what he does, and we'll do that. Back to you, man. Let's talk about, did you play sports in high school?
I wrestled, but it was short-lived because my grades weren't that great.
Okay. So you got ineligible? Is that what you tried to tell us?
I did track. Okay. For, again, short period of time. I just couldn't maintain the grades.
Okay. As when you went to Clark, what was the difference? What made you stay? What you like about the campus? Because you went to historically black college and university. What made the difference for you going there?
Do you want the truth?
Oh yeah, this is the truth show.
The women.
Okay, that's all I need to know. Okay,
yes.
Okay.
Yes, I realized I was kind of coming into my own, and realizing that women found intelligence attractive. So I was like, okay, well, it's time to hit the books then.
That is classic.
Yes, it's time to hit the books.
Hey,
so,
and it helped you out.
Yes.
It helped you out.
Yeah, I got more active as far as just athletic and doing more athletic things a little more after, once I got out of high school.
Okay.
Started doing several different martial arts, some boxing.
Okay. Let's talk about that. So knowing that martial arts have played a key role in your life and also boxing, so that's part of discipline.
Yeah.
How do you use that in therapy?
Well, sometimes, especially my adult clients or even my adolescent clients, we forget that there's many aspects of us. So we focus on just one thing. We may just focus on the mental health, but we forget about our physical health, our spiritual health, our social health, So as we're talking, we talk about those things and figure out how can we add more into it, so that way we have a holistic approach to their treatment.
Definitely.
So if I'm, dealing with depression, of course I'm going to be isolating. My motivation's going to be low,
right.
And I have to kind of push myself into doing things and activities and things like that.
Right.
So we try to make steps into, small goals into getting them active and being around people and socialize.
Definitely.
And then with the adolescents, with too much time on their hands or anger issues and stuff like that, I suggest that to the parents. Hey, have you tried boxing? Have you tried martial arts? And a lot of times when they get in there, they feel good. That exercise helps, increase the neurotransmitters in their brain. That makes them feel good. They learn that discipline. They learn that focus.
Right.
And it increases their self-esteem when they accomplish whatever it is, the task that they're trying to accomplish.
That's
it's really good.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That is nice, man. That is nice. So we talked a little bit about your history, about your background. How's your son?
I have a 13-year-old son and a 6-year-old daughter. Okay,
cool. So you really going through?
Oh, those teenagers, man. It's interesting.
So the trying to be slick, trying to come in and try. Is he at the girl stage yet? Is he still just trying to learn?
He's still learning himself. Cool. He's still learning himself. He's testing limits from time to time.
Yeah.
Really, he is social, so he's kind of into the social media on his phone. So we got to work on that.
Yeah. We didn't grow up with that, man.
No. A lot of the things that he has and does, I didn't. No.
Yeah, because I have a 2-year-old, so it just him running around getting into stuff now, and that's the part. Now he has that discipline when you try to hold him. He wants to get your hand away from me. I want to do my. So he's at that age, man, and I'm like, okay, I got to be patient, man.
I think once they turn teenager, I think they go back to the terrible too.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. Those are, raising the child, working your private practice, man, and just developing yourself as you report. I know that takes a lot. So you do have ways that how do you do self-care?
The last time, it was funny. The last time that I was really feeling really depressed, it was during separation.
Gotcha.
And I was actually working at a hospital, and I was doing an evaluation on somebody, and I looked and I said, "Oh my gosh, that's me." What the, But it was masked. That isolation and that low energy, I thought it was because I was working a lot.
Right.
So I said, well, what would I tell a client to do in this situation? So I realized, well, hey, you stopped doing a lot of the stuff you used to do. So I stopped working out, I stopped interacting. I would just come from work and just, go straight to the room. The kids want to play, and I'm like, no, I'm tired. So I joined a pool league.
Okay.
So I still play on Wednesdays.
Shoot pool.
Shoot pool.
That's nice.
Billiards.
Okay.
I'm on the Playmakers.
Okay.
So we play Wednesday, and we do pretty good. So I've been shooting pool for about 15 years now.
Nice.
So joined a pool league, started back working out, and I still work out about 3 to 4 days a week.
Gotcha. Okay, let's say that his technique, we use that in therapy. How would we follow that in therapy? What would be the breakdown or consistency that we would do? So we say we have a client that has
anxiety.
Anxiety. Yeah. Let's do that. So yeah. So how would that just think, like you said, if you was him, how would you coach or how would you counsel your client that has has anxiety?
Yeah. Well, anxiety has a lot of pieces and parts to it, but just recognizing that you're going to get tired just as you're going to get anxious.
Right.
You know, but the way to get through anxiety or the way to get to stronger or built more is to work through pushing past that.
Got you.
And with any workout, you're definitely going to have breathing techniques.
True.
So you're going to have breathing techniques. Just as an anxiety, you're going to have breathing techniques.
Yeah.
And you're going to also have to put some things into action.
Right.
You're going to have to create a plan to work through and deal with whatever is fearing you, whatever anxiety you may have. But at first, you have to have the technique, the actions down pat. You can't say, hey, I'm going to do this, just as you can't say, hey, don't be anxious, just stop being anxious, because there's some physical pieces involved.
Right.
So you have to breathe, you're going to have to work through it, and you're going to have to allow yourself to get to that next point and allow it to pass.
Definitely.
You're going to have to exercise that muscle of strength, endurance, and will to get to the other side of the anxiety.
We're going to take a break, and when we come back from our break, we're going to talk a little bit more with my man LaMar Walker and get into what he does at his facility. Okay? See you back in a Hey, thanks. Welcome back. When we're back here at TNE, the next episode, season 2. This is with my man LaMar Walker. LaMar Walker's an LPC. He's a general practitioner. He has a private practice up in Lawrenceville, up in Gwinnett County. Or man, talk to me about okay. So if I'm a client coming into your practice initially,
yeah,
what happens? Talk to me. Let's walk through that.
Well,
I have anxiety. I'm dealing with the fact that I just moved here from Cleveland, Ohio. LeBron James left the Cavs, and I got to deal with these Hawks, and I'm learning this driving situation, 285 and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so and my job is in Duluth, and I got to deal with the understanding the whole dichotomy of the environment.
Okay, there's a couple of things going on. Well, all my clients, when they first come in, just even if they've been with me for a while, we have a check-in sheet that I have them fill out, even on the first day where they start.
Okay.
This kind of gets them in the habit of recognizing their symptoms. So it has a list of symptoms, whether they're positive symptoms or negative symptoms, and also asks what's triggering their symptoms.
Gotcha.
Then we look at any coping skills that they are using. Also look at any suicidality, any how they're eating, how they're sleeping, and then what it is that they want, whatever the goal is for today.
Gotcha.
Just to kind of create a level of structure.
Okay.
But when they first come in, also I have some paperwork that they have to fill out. So I have one sheet that goes over about myself, some background information, also consent to treatment, and then some demographics things or whatever about them. When if they call the office, my assistant generally gets a lot of their demographic information and sets them up for their appointments and things like that. So when they come in, I ask them, hey, what's brought you here?
Okay.
Let's talk about that.
All right.
And I may hint on some of the symptoms a little bit, but initially, I want to get to know them.
Gotcha.
So, you mentioned your favorite team, so I may ask you, tell me, how long have you been like that?
Okay, let's role play. Let's role play. Okay. So we're going to role play, man. So I'm going to do like this. That means action. And I do like this. This means cut. Okay. So we going now. Action. Let's do it.
Okay.
All right.
So You moved from where again?
Cleveland, Ohio.
Cleveland, Ohio.
Yeah.
How is it in Cleveland?
It's cold now. You know, our Browns are doing good. LeBron left. Our Cavs are doing horrible, man. I mean, we can get tickets now to the game because, you know, he's in LA. So I'm glad they're not doing good. But I moved down here. I got a job offer down here to work. So I came down here to Atlanta. I'm just getting used to this atmosphere, man. You know, it's totally different because, like, in Cleveland, we are kind of concise. Out here, everything's spread out. You know, so it's like I didn't know Duluth is like almost an hour away from downtown. Yeah. You know, and y'all don't have just one downtown. Y'all got downtown, midtown, and then y'all have where everybody likes to kick it at, with Lenox Mall and all that stuff. But that's with Buckhead, right? Yeah. So I'm trying to get used to all this stuff, man. So it's just.
Do you have any family or friends here?
I had a cousin. Okay. He brought me down here. He showed me the life a little bit, what he does, and then he up and left.
Oh wow! So it's just you?
Yeah, it's just me now. You know.
Okay. That has to be kind of frustrating.
Yeah, because I you know, don't know many people. You know, I miss my family back home. I'm dealing with, you know, going through this. We just got divorced, so I'm, you know, trying to get back into the dating game, and it's kind of wild out here. So
how long were you married?
We've married for about 13 years. About 13 years, man, and just parted ways, man. No kids together, but but just dealing with that, man. And now I'm back here, you know, at this age now, and it's just, you know, I came down here because I knew there's gonna be a lot of women down here, so that's the first thing. But but I don't know about it, man. This dating life is totally different than when I first got into the dating game. You know, 13 years of marriage.
So you've had several different changes in a short period of time. Yeah. So you've moved.
Right.
And recently getting divorced.
Right.
New job.
Definitely.
And just away from family. So all of those things, anytime we go through any significant changes, it's a loss.
Yeah. Okay.
Even the positive changes a lot of times is a loss.
Yeah.
So if you had kids, there's a loss of money and a loss of time.
True.
You know, changing and moving away from family, it's a loss of that support from your family.
Right.
So a lot of times, you know, people tell us when we go through different changes, just put your big boy pants on, keep it moving, keep it going, you know, you'll find somebody else or whatever.
Right.
And we just hold all the emotions of those changes in, and we keep moving and we keep going and we keep going, and then eventually that balloon pops.
Gotcha.
Now all the emotions are all over the place, and we're trying to stuff them back in.
So how does that look like? What does that look like, you know?
So,
because I know when I wrote on the symptom sheet, you told me, I talked about, you know, I had some times where hard to go to bed. There's some days when I go to work, I just stick to what I do at work, and then I just leave and go home. I don't socialize with anybody at this time. I used to work out, play golf and stuff like that. You know, right now, because I'm trying to get familiarized with everything, I put that on the back burner. Just, you know, still trying to figure out how I dealt with I'm glad it's over, the divorce, but it's still, you know, you still kind of miss them. You know what I'm saying? You miss who you was loved. That's 13 years. You know, that's a lot of things. Hold on. So how does that look like? What they call a diagnosis of just like depression or anxiety, or what's that like?
Definitely. So there's isolation. There's low energy.
Gotcha.
Low motivation, and lack of interest in a lot of things that you used to be interested in. So, you know, depression, everybody gets depressed. But when it's for an extended amount of time, then that's when it starts to, we call it clinical depression.
Gotcha. Okay.
Or major depressive disorder, so to speak. But each one of those situations that you've experienced, each one of those losses, you know, if you want to continue, we can continue to work on those.
Okay.
Talk about those emotions, talk about those feelings, so that way we can get them out.
Right,
you know, we have the option, we could stuff it all back in and just keep it moving, because everything will seem like it's okay, but it's going to be harder to put all that back in. So you come in, we discuss it, we talk about it. Of course, we'll talk about other things from here, you know, time to time.
Gotcha.
But we may even venture into finding out if there's any underlying issues that are going on or may have happened.
All right.
But initially, I don't want to do that.
Gotcha.
So initially what we're going to do is we're going to get you set up with a bunch of coping skills so that way you can function day in and day out.
Okay.
So if you looked at the check-in sheet, there may be some things on there that you haven't used or don't even know what it is,
right.
And we're going to work together to figure that out. We're going to come up with some goals to get you through some of these situations. Once you get used to me and we kind of build a rapport, relationship, eventually we'll start looking at some of those underlying issues that may be there.
Okay.
I just don't want you to get stuck there.
Gotcha.
We're not going to get stuck in the past. And if we start dealing with some of those difficult underlying things, I want you to have the tools in your toolbox to be able to handle it and continue to move on and daily functioning as well.
Cool. Let me ask you this though. You prescribe medication now?
No, I don't.
Okay. All right. Cool. So you ain't gonna put me on no pill or nothing?
No.
Okay.
The medication, I like to say, is only 25% of it. The other 75% is your ability to cope. There's no miracle pill. Cool. So there's no pill that's going to take all this away for you. Yeah. We're going to have to figure out how to work through it.
Yeah, because I heard, you know, I had an uncle who was bipolar, man. He went through that stuff, and they put him on them pills, man. He looked kind of crazy. You know, he looked like a little zombie. One minute he cool, the next minute he was like just out of it. So I was kind of fearful, like, man, I don't want to really deal with no pills and nothing like that. But so you don't prescribe the medication?
No, but I do know some psychiatrists that I work with, and if we get to the point to where we're using our coping skills, we're trying to figure out how to manage some of these lows and lack of energy and things like that, and you're still struggling.
Okay.
Think about this: the medication. If we can't even really stand up, the medication will help you to at least be able to stand up on your feet.
Gotcha.
So that's an option for us. Okay. We won't explore that option right away, but I have a bunch of referrals that we can look at and talk about it. But if we decide to go that way, whatever the psychiatrist puts you on or prescribes for you, do the research.
Gotcha.
Figure out any side effects and explore it and talk to them about it or whatever. So just you're not
going to talk to you about it if there's some side effects. And
definitely. Okay. On the check-in sheet, there's a section on the bottom that says, you know, are you taking the medication as prescribed if you're on medication? Gotcha. And is there any side effects? And if you sign the release form, I can talk directly to the psychiatrist and we kind of work together to make sure everything is going good.
So there's no like difference between you and a psychiatrist, or is there?
Well, I don't have my doctorate for one. Okay. And for two, I don't deal with medication.
Gotcha. What I like about that is how you really didn't really hesitate in describing the skill set and not forcing him into counseling sessions quickly. You know, and that's the one thing that I think we all should do as clinicians, not just say, okay, let's try to fix you. You're like, let's build a rapport first, man. If you want some coping skills, I can give you some now, just to get you moving. But I want to make sure to build a rapport. I dig that, man. That's the one thing that I always and I think because you're currently now a supervisor.
Yeah, I have my supervisory license.
You be supervising any clients, any therapists yet?
No, I do not.
Okay.
No, I have a few people that have expressed interest. We're supposed to be meeting, I think next week. I got to look at my calendar to discuss what that looks like. Okay. But I probably, once I start supervising those trying to get their license, I'll probably only take about 2 or 3 because there's a lot that goes into it, and
a lot of work.
You know, I want to make sure that their development is good.
Yeah. So
you got to meet them where they're at, and you have to. People sense when you're not real. Yeah. You know, and that if they can't come in and feel comfortable with you, then they're not going to want to tell you or share anything with you. You know, I've had some clients that have told me their experience with their previous therapist and was like, you know, after the first session with me, they're like, dang, I ain't never told nobody that, not even my last therapist. And they're like, yo, I'm real comfortable with you. I'm like, I just want to make sure, and my mind is I would just want to help.
Right.
You're here for me to help you. How can I help you? If you walk away with something, then I'm good.
Season 2, I'm here with LaMar Walker, general practitioner therapist that's out of the Lawrenceville area, Gwinnett County, and he's sharing with me. We had a good time, man. I really appreciate this time, man, because you like I said, it's just from when we met at the conference, man, it was one thing that we looked up, and then, you know, we linked up on LinkedIn, and we Facebook Facebook buddies, you know. Yeah. So it is, you know, and that's the one thing that I strive to, because in this day and age, man, you can never have too many too little colleagues, man. I'm always want to make sure we have some more. So man, like
your network is your net worth.
That's true.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, man. Once again, thanks again for showing up. Hey, and check this out, man. We on season 2 TNE, so you know what I say. Check it out on the what? Next episode. Peace.
Peace.